Can you hear us?
Yes, yeah, good.
How well do you hear us?
Very good. We can hear you.
Say hello.
Hey!
Hi. Stan, did you want to start us off here?
Excuse me? Sorry,
Oh,
Miranda? Yeah,
it's okay.
sure.
Would you like to start us off?
Sure, yeah. Oh, okay. So, hey, comrades. How's everyone?
Good.
Good to be here with you, of course, who are the most, amongst the most brilliant of students in this city. And of course, you have the most brilliant of teachers, Mr. Alok, in this city, you know. So much respect and much love to you and to everyone. I hope also, Nelson comrades, that you're all well, that your families are well, and that everything is with peace.
Yes.
So I'm not going to spend any more time talking because I want to hand things over to our land defender comrades, right? But I just want to remind you that when we, and you've heard me talk about this before, when we talk about comrades, right? We're talking about being with each other, right? As partners in the fight for justice, right? And we're talking about also standing by and standing with each other, right? In the face of injustice. And this standing by and this standing with, right, is what we talk about, what we call solidarity, right? So I'm going to hand it over now to our comrades who are going to talk about Wet'suwet'en solidarity and the defense of land and the defense of water and the defense of sky, in which we are all interconnected with, right? So we all have a part and a role to play. We are all connected. Everything that we are connected to and everything connected to we defend, right?
I guess I just like to say thank you, Stan, and thank you for everybody to be here and making this experience for us at Nelson Mandela. Stan and I have been working very closely for years and years, and we've collaborated on curriculum building during that span, and between U of T, TYP, and Nelson Mandela. So we bridged and created a bridge between the two schools, and hopefully a pathway for our young comrades to to move back and forth between the communities and the educational spaces. But yeah, we're excited, and the students are excited, and I'm sure they got questions lined up for everybody here, and much respect.
Sego Sego Guayo, my name is Miranda Black. Sego is hello in Mohawk, and Sego Guayo is everyone. So hello, everyone. I'm so grateful to be able to be speaking with you. I am Mohawk from Tyinaniga territory, generationally displaced from the territory itself, but holding onto our culture as much as I possibly can. I'm here with two folks, Sabina Dennis and Kabayas Dennis, who both live close to the territory, and they will give an introduction of themselves. Kabayas, I think you're on mute.
Okay. Hadi, my name is Kambayas Dennis. I'm a Dakelth woman, Caribou Clan. I am currently residing on Saika's unceded traditional territory, and I give thanks. Just grateful to be here, grateful to Miranda for all her work that she does, and grateful to you all for your voices and your work that you do. It all fits into a piece of a puzzle, and my hands are up to you. Thank you.
Hadi, I don't know if it's my turn or not, but my name is Sabina Dennis. I am a Dakal as well. My sister is Kambayaz Dennis. I just want to say to all you kids out there in Casey, that is the Dakal's way of saying that I love you. We love you, no Casey. And that means everything good for you. I want to start with saying that because it's an important beginning and we're all in this together, the Yinka Dene. All of us are Yinka Dene. That means earth people. So we're brothers and sisters. Nice to meet you all and feel free to answer. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have today. Masi.
I see other faces here too. I was wondering, Nicole and Simana, would you like to, if I'm pronouncing that properly, would you like to introduce yourselves as well?
I will always wait, but maybe I will go first. My name is Nicole Levesque. My family, I grew up here in Scarborough, Ontario, but my family originates from the Ottawa Valley area. I grew up with my grandmother, who's a Wendat woman. I am Eagle Clan. My spirit name is Circling Hawk Woman. And it's really an honor to be here with you all. Already, those words have so much power. And I feel to cry, at sometimes I will, but it's that goodness. It's because of the words of truth that will be spoken here. And for our youth, I'm really thankful. So my great.
Okay.
I have one more introduction. My colleague, Trisha Sullivan.
Oh, hi, Patricia. Nice to meet you.
Hello, Indigenica Wawate. I come from the Bear Clan. I'm learning about myself, and I do a lot of teachings here with our kids. I am their connection. I brought my smudge bowl because it's my lunchtime, but I said I need to be here. So I brought my smudge and I brought my medicines. I don't know if you all did that already. So I would love to do a virtual smudge with everybody, just to set the tone. And I try to do that with the students as much as I can. I'll even go into classrooms with the teacher's request just to smudge, because it helps send off such positive energy and our students love it. Things are opening up. I would love if we can do a round dance together, something like that, because I'm doing it all by myself over here and I need some help. So I'm gonna get the smudge bowl and we'll start a smudge. Jimagwich.
Well, we're doing a smudge. I'll just say a little prayer in Dakal for you. It's this, first I'll say, Hadi Dakalne and Katsiane Dane.
Yes.
Dian Katne Luant O. Sunegan Li Huyant O. At Hawa Hunicha Su Ratson Le. And I'm simply saying to you all that this land, our mother, it is. And she takes beautiful care of us. And that is why it is our duty to take beautiful care of her. Awitza.
Just let them know we're doing the cooking. I have it all. So you see the cameras are off because it's something very special, right? Because we want them to see it. So we're smudging today with some buffalo sage and some lavender. I always like to throw in lavender because it's for the kids. So just wanted to let you all know that.
It's really nice. Thank you. I also just wanted to say that some folks from the Downey Wenjack Fund are here today as well. We have Sarah and we also have Riley, I see. And these folks have been really wonderful. And I'm just really grateful to be able to share this session with them as people observing this session and learning a little bit more about what student solidarity and our connection to one another. Really grateful that you're both here.
Thank you so much for the invitation. We're just going to be quiet, flies on the wall. We don't want to take up any space, but we're so grateful for the gracious invitation to attend.
So I just put the minutes in here just in case any of you all want a virtual smudge. Thank you, Kumba, Chimagwich. Chimagwich, everybody. Okay.
Thank you for doing that. I wanted to ask some of the kids, because it's been a while since we've been able to talk to one another. The last time that we were in your class, it was February 7th, and it ended up being a pretty heavy conversation. And there were a lot of things that had come up, and it was really unfortunate because we couldn't see your faces that time. So we didn't see your reactions and we didn't see who you are. So I wanted to ask, just start putting out if you had any questions.
Or even if people had any insights or comments or suggestions.
Very important.
Like, think about what's an idea you might have of what we can do as a people, as adults, to help you guys in your futures.
See, we have a question asker over there.
So introduce yourself.
I'm Leanne. And hi. So my question is, what can we do to help?
It's a really good question. I think Sabina and Kambayas, would you like to answer that one?
I'll let Kamba go first. She was born first, so she'll go first.
Let's see. Snachalya, for your beautiful question. It's first of all, asking questions like that, asking questions of leaders, and you're a leader yourself, just by asking and seeking that knowledge. So my best advice is to seek knowledge, to share what you learn, and just keep loving humanity, keep loving the earth, keep banding together.
Okay.
And I'd like to say to you, a lot of Indigenous practice and belief is about restoring the balance. And it becomes a huge task when we're tasked to restoring the balance to the planet. It's something we're willing to do as a people and to work towards. But something we can do as individuals is restore the balance within ourselves so that we feel strong and at our highest heightened self. And in that place, we come up with great solutions, things we wouldn't have ever thought of if we were stressed out or worried or, you know, not centered within ourselves. So a way you can do that is just by reflecting upon what people consider weaknesses are often our areas where we need to focus on. And that could mean, you know, learning how to navigate through life around your peers with a lot of love and compassion, and also for yourself, to have love and compassion for yourself. So it's a really big start to educate yourself, and from within a lot can happen. and keep talking to your parents, asking questions and educating yourself. And when the opportunity comes, you'll be able to answer questions to others who are looking to you for the answers. Thank you for your question, Masi.
Your answer.
We had another question.
Great.
Hi, my name's Brianna, and
Like lean in so they can see you.
okay, the question is, how can non-Indigenous people use Indigenous teachings to help them, like, move forward in life?
I think that one's a really good one, and I'm going to take a swing at it because I'm Mohawk, but I'm also half white settler. And so I've had a lot of difficulty coming into understanding my own culture. And then how do I do this in a respectful way and working in solidarity with these folks on Wet'suwet'en territory? I've really needed to learn to step my ego. So like any sense of entitlement or any of these things that we kind of like have lurking in the background, kind of set that aside and like, what do my friends need? How can I support my friends? How can I support those around me? And then those are the types of teachings that are really like central to a lot of Indigenous teachings. And so when you're thinking about how do I support the collective? And that means like all of our relatives and all of our relationships, like our plants and medicines and so forth, you can really like use those Indigenous teachings in everything that you're doing. I think that's probably a good way to start.
I would just like to pipe in too, at the base of, I would say, all our connected cultures is respect. And so respecting yourself, first of all, learning how to respect yourself, as my sister was saying, loving yourself, respecting yourself. And then that carries on to respecting others, respecting the earth, respecting every creature. And so just having that respect for all life and carry that with you in your heart at all times. All times. And you will be, if you live that way, you will inspire others to do the same. It's this beautiful, beautiful ripple effect. And we never know who we can touch with how we live as an example in our respect and our love. So just walking in love and in respect, in unity, I would say is the most epic thing you can do, and it will be felt around the world. I thank you.
I also feel like another good thing that we need to do is to follow our instinct. Do you guys know what instincts are?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the instinct is within each and every one of us. And it's sort of like, it's sort of our gift from creation. And it's within each and every one of us. And that instinct is telling you things that maybe your mind and your body don't quite understand. It might tell you that it's time to say a water prayer. I want to splash the water way up in the air so that it heals my body and it'll rain down on me. And some people might think that's a weird thing for my instinct to say. I'm not going to do that because it might be embarrassing. But I think it's time to go beyond our own self-conscious attitudes and move into our creation evolutionary state of mind, which is that each and every one of you has a gift, and to hide it away is sort of the conditioning of our society. And we need to encourage each other into freedom, into the freedom that we can listen to our instinct without doubting it, because guess what? The instinct is there to protect you. And what protects you protects the animals. And what protects the animals also protects our Mother Earth. So thank you. Thanks. Beautiful question, Masi. And guess what? We're all brothers and sisters here. Everybody's blood is red. We're all brothers and sisters. And not only the human race, but all animals and plants are our brothers and sisters as well. So it's all of our responsibility to recognize that and work together for our other brothers and sisters that are suffering, the salmon, the animals that have gone extinct before, and maybe it's too late for them, but it's not too late to pray for their spirits. Masi.
Hi, my name is Raisa, and I have a
Go closer. Imagine the mic is there.
okay. Hello, my name is Raisa, and I have a question for the First Nations water. Is the Canadian government doing a better job now helping end the water crisis in the First Nation communities?
Miranda?
That was a really hard one because I'd love to be able to say yes, they're definitely helping. There have been more water advisories lifted, but there's still a lot of people who have boiled water. So just there in Toronto, where you are right now and where I am, my territory is only 2 hours away. It's a Mohawk territory, and we don't have running water. And then there's another territory south, and they don't have running water either. And there's a bunch of places around Toronto called reserves or territories, and they don't have running water either. So I would love to say that, yes, this idea that they're changing things for First Nations people and water is changing, but it's not even what we're fighting for in Wet'suwet'en. Both Kambayas and Sabina are water defenders, and the land is so important, but it's the water that's like the utmost, it's the most spiritual being, right? So maybe Kambayas, would you be able to talk a little bit more about that?
Water is life. So a beautiful, thoughtful question, and knowing that we all need beautiful water to survive, it's important. So to the question of the Canadian government doing what they can for the water, I'm going to be really honest with you because that's what you deserve. You're an intelligent human. So not very long ago, the government took away a lot of protections on our waters, our natural waters, not let alone our drinking water systems. So that is something you could do. You could write a letter to the government, to Canada, and say, my brothers and sisters need clean drinking water. Our animals need clean drinking water. We need to have those water systems, water protection laws put back in place because they were removed in the Harper government. I don't know if you remember Harper, but he did a lot to help industry and not help us. So that is something very important that we need to talk about and keep talking about it, keep talking about it. Do we all have clean water to drink? And right now we don't. And I'm sorry to say that our government isn't making that a priority for our First Nations brothers and sisters. So that is why we have these conversations.
Yeah, I'd like to say something about that, is that the government is doing the bare minimum by barely providing clean water on the reserves with their filtration systems. But what we need to talk about is, why are those waters all polluted in the first place? Why, how are we gonna clean those water systems, our natural flowing creeks, rivers, and streams that we all used to drink out of not that long ago? In my mother's day, she said they could drink out of any water stream, even lakes. And so within a very short amount of time, we have polluted our waters to the point where groundwater, clean, pure groundwater is very sacred. It's very scarce. And we need to push, like Kamba was saying, we need to push the government to have better laws to protect our waters in the first place, so that we don't have to be in these situations where there's no clean drinking water on reserves. And part of that is the contamination of the water, especially in different areas where they frack. And I don't know if you guys know what fracking is. Have you heard of fracking? No? Do you know what LNG is? It's liquefied natural gas. And this is the gas that the government is telling you kids, that it's a natural gas that's going to take us out of, help us into less emissions in the future. But the actual reality of LNG is that they have to frack for that gas, and they drill into the earth with giant drills and make mini explosions miles down into the earth. And they explode the earth underneath, and they call it fracturing. And so they create these cracks in the earth, and then the gas starts pouring out. These natural gases are fossil fuels. They're there since the dinosaur ages. Anyway, they pour all of this drinking water with chemicals mixed in to make this gas collectible for humans. So they're taking millions and millions of gallons of fresh water, turning it into frack fluid. And then when they're done with the fracked gas well, they cap it. So they leave all those chemicals in the ground. And guess what that's doing? What do you think that does to the watershed?
Makes it bad.
Very bad. That's right. It pollutes the aquifers and the surface waters that humans have relied upon. All animals rely upon. So thank you for your very intense and intelligent question. Masi.
Am I able to just add a bit of what our sister Sabina and Kanda said in regards to where you are now as youth? You know the waters that are here in Toronto. You're very close to the Humber River. So you see what the government, you can take these very powerful teachings that you have just been given. And next time you go by the Don Valley River, when you're going up over the bridge there or close by, you can see what has been done to that river and the relationship that the government has with the waters. And there was a time, I'm in my early 40s, so I could be old enough to be your mom. My grandma could swim in that river. And there was a time, as we know, that's the veins of Mother Earth. The government here straightened that and cut it off from Lake Ontario. And now they're having a project where they're trying to reunify in Lake Ontario now. But we see the damage. We know we wouldn't go to Lake Ontario and drink from it. It has to be treated. And I live right close to Leslie, right here. And when I first moved into this house, I wondered, what is the smell that I can smell in the air in the summertime? And I realized that we're by a water treatment plant. So what we flush down our toilets and put into the waters, how the pollutants from outside go into those waters now have to be treated. Even though, just as Kamba and Sabina said, we should be able to just drink from that water. I just wanted to share that little piece for when you are walking by, you can actually see those teachings right there in your city.
Talking about where you are in Toronto, Lake Ontario has just become swimmable. So you can go to the beach and you can take a swim. But what a lot of people don't know is that we have combined sewers. So talking about the water treatment plant, that really got me thinking about the combined sewers. So when there's a lot of precipitation or like those storms or there's floods, the combined sewer can't hold all of the wastewater, so can't hold all the toilet water and all that kind of stuff. And it actually leaks out into Lake Ontario. So these types of pollution are happening right in our city. And we have a lot of opportunity to be able to change those, but they've been very slow at making these changes. And I think that's because of like this view of water. It's like water is a resource, water is a commodity. Water can be sold or extracted or sold in bottles. But the truth is we only have so much of it. And we're in one of the biggest freshwater basins in the world. Not everybody has water like this. And so it really needs a lot of respect, especially for future generations. Your question about water was really great. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Serenity and I have a question. Why does the government help other countries like the World War and everything else, but can't help Canadians or Indigenous people with just water?
It's a really big question, Trinity. What up? Anyone be interested in answering this one?
Well, I have a theory. And my theory is that, and that means that this is a thought. This isn't necessarily fact. But my feeling is that we are still in a colonization process. And that means that the colonizer, which is the European nations that came over, they are still working towards making us inculcated into the society. So basically, they're still trying to make us so that we rely on the government for everything. So if we don't have clean water, it leaves us in a place of poverty. And when Indigenous people are in poverty, we are not able to do our jobs as well. And our jobs are very clearly given to us by our ancestors, which is that we are the caretakers of the lands, the waters, and the animals. So that is a very, very hard question to answer in a way. And I offer you that theory, but if anyone else has another answer, please join in. Thank you for that question. Masi.
I would like to offer a thought that as Canadians, because Canada was born on our land, so that's why I say Canadians. We have this idea about ourselves, that we're kind people, that we're good people, and that we really like to present that idea to the world. And so doing these things, it's almost like just presenting a false face, if you will, like those two-faced people that you know of. That's kind of what we do as a society. And you're right, we should change that. We should take care of our people first. There shouldn't be homeless people. They shouldn't be starving people. So doing these things for other countries is beautiful. We're all in the same world together. But in some ways, it's done to make us look better and feel better about ourselves. So we should take care of our neighbors, as well as others around the world. But you're right, when you see somebody hurting right beside you, It's very important to do something about that.
Mhm.
Brilliant, brilliant. I can't believe I can believe it. I can believe the brilliant minds and hearts, and thank you for asking these questions, because that is what we need. We need you guys to stir our minds and stir our hearts and say, why?
Mhm. To add to what to the answer to this question, I think a lot of people are just finding out what's happened here in Canada and to Indigenous folks, and they're actually listening. Like last year, there were a lot of things that came up that no one had ever really, like Settler Canada, had never really wanted to talk about before, and they're far more comfortable talking and learning and wanting to know how they can help. But I've seen a lot of videos on TikTok and so forth of people who've supported, whether they were part of the military and they've done peacekeeping in other places or humanitarian aid. And then they find these things out and they go, why was I all the way over there when there's just so much to help right here, right in front of me, and I didn't know about any of it? So that's a really big question. But I think I love the answers that have come out of it. Does that help you in your mindset?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have another student with a question. Is that okay?
Yes.
How are Indigenous communities? Okay, my name is Chana, and how are Indigenous communities organizing to improve water drinking conditions?
Can you repeat that question?
How are Indigenous communities organizing to improve water drinking conditions?
Yeah, and this is a really great one because we have two women who are standing up for water every single day, right here, right in front of you. So the water that is called Wensinkwa, and that is on Wet'suwet'en territory, you can still drink it with your hands. But it's taking a lot of people to stand up every single day and make sure that there's protection of those waters. And there's a couple in the Great Lakes system too. There's what's called Line 3 and Line 5. And those are both gas lines going through that are one of them that's been leaking. And so those people are standing up every single day, making sure that those waters will be protected. But it takes a lot of strength and a lot of courage. Sabina or Kamba?
Yeah, so a lot of Indigenous nations have made different resource management studies that have included the waters. So a lot of the watersheds have already been polluted, or many dams have been made in our territories. And so a lot of the Indigenous nations are actually going to court and trying to fight the government and industry for some of the atrocities that have been done to our river systems already. So a lot of the work is being done in courts, and often it involves suing the government, unfortunately, for monies. But in this way, it makes them accountable somehow for their actions. So even though it's not to the degree that we need to preserve and protect the water, it's a start. And another thing Indigenous nations have done is they've started a Guardian Watchman program. And within that, they monitor their lands and test the waters for contamination and make the governments and industries accountable for any pollution that they do on the territories. Is really important that we monitor and keep track of any contamination out there in the waterways. But sadly, as much work as we have done, it's not nearly enough. And our waters are drastically needing protection more than ever. And so I believe it's important as Indigenous nations that we start something called preemptive strike. And that means that before the companies come in with their machines and dig up the land and wreck the water, we have a plan for that water. So we need to have a plan for the trees. Before the industry gets in there to cut them all down, we need to make plans and submit those plans to the government so that it's protected in the way that it's already being used. Because to the government, sadly, if there's land that's unused, it's considered a waste. But to Indigenous, unused lands are sacred areas that are for healing and medicines and spiritual awakening, and all these important animals live there. So we have to start preemptive striking so that we don't end up having to fight industry. It's really hard for Indigenous people and land defenders to stand there and have to face off with the RCMP. And it's not something we want for the next generation, your generation to come. We don't want that for you guys. We want you to be able to preemptive strike and stop the industry before it comes, so that you don't end up having to go face to face with industry police. And that's my hope for you all. So I hope that helps.
Yep, they just as a note too, because this isn't all of, I mentioned 3, but there's so many more places in the world where this is happening right now. But the Nuku'nuth in Vancouver Island are also fighting in court. I think just this month, talking about their big trees on an island that they weren't using because they were making sure that it was taken care of by the land and the water. They were allowing it to do its own thing and govern itself. But to the Canadian government, it's seen as a word called terra nullius. No one lives there. It's no one's land. And it's the same with what's happening in the Wet'suwet'en nation as well, that it's being seen by the government as terra nullius. No one lives there. No one's lived there for generations. But they don't know how much of a heart that is to the community, or how people were using it. So this idea that Sabina has, that's revolutionary.
I would like to share something too. 2 points I would like to make is that just last year, there was a river in Quebec that was granted through our court system personhood status, the Magpie River. So yay! I just wanted to share that because that has been fought for, and that has paid off. So wonderful. And I think your question was to do with how Indigenous people are protecting waters. We have a beautiful, beautiful system, our hereditary system. It's what we've followed for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And that is how we've protected. And what we do is we have leaders who have been trained to lead and how to be connected and how to think. And they think 7 generations ahead. Every generation, every decision that they make, they have to think of future generations. So your great grandchildren are being considered when we make any decision. We can't make any decisions that will affect in a negative way our earth, our mother, our brothers and sisters, our great grandchildren. So as Indigenous people, we need to reconnect with our teachings because they're already there. They're really beautiful. So we are learning as well as you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your question.
Welcome. Thank you.
We have more questions if that's allowed. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah, that's cool.
Mhm.
I want to
Uh,
ask you a question.
I just had a question for Stan first. Is there a university class going to be joining us too?
We have comrades from my class already here, right?
Oh, great. I didn't
Yeah,
know that you were
yeah,
here. Fantastic.
Yes, we have a few here. Yeah.
Great. So yes, please, Mr. Alak, go right ahead. What else do we have?
Brianna.
Hi. I
Hi.
have how can non-Indigenous people help fight to get Indigenous people to be treated well? Because non-Indigenous people are getting more things.
Wow. Wow, that is really insightful of you. I think that it's such an important thing for non-Indigenous to start to understand our laws, because our laws have already influenced the Canadian government in really beautiful ways. Like the Iroquois Confederacy, for instance, is the reason why the Canadian government kind of adopted that sort of model. And feminism also was started because of an Indigenous woman, suffrage in our country in Turtle Island here was started by Indigenous people. So I think that once you learn and study the laws of Indigenous people and some of our culture, it motivates you into a better understanding of how to conduct yourself in this reality, and in a larger perspective too, how the government could adopt some of our values and laws into their system, you know, because the laws that we have are created to protect all life and to keep and ensure a balance between the living nature around us, the natural world around us, and our own inner spirits. So what I feel like non-Indigenous could do to directly help us is to study. There's a lot of on the ground actions happening in Indigenous territories almost frequently, always. And if you can introduce yourself somehow to Indigenous elders or somebody you could speak to about the area and learn about the area you live in, I feel that it just becomes second nature to understand what you need to do to help them, because there's so many projects that we need work on. And in times of mourning, like, I don't know if you kids know about residential school yet, or if you've been taught about some of the mass graves that have been found. But this puts us in a state of mourning as a people. So our whole nation is in mourning. It's very hard times for us. So I feel like it's very important for non-Indigenous people to step up right now, because when in our culture, when somebody is hurting and in mourning, then other families come and help us. We don't have to do that work on our own. And so that is a very beautiful question, and I appreciate it. It really feels like I feel cared for. And that question alone has helped me feel cared for. So already you have done something for Indigenous people. You made me feel cared for. Masi cho. Masi.
I would like to just add to my sisters is about the care for is I've always just said I want everybody to love us. So just love us. And get other people to love us too. when we learn about each other, we love each other. So share yourself with others and allow an Indigenous person to share themselves with you, and just keep that open heart and love. It's the best thing, because with love comes so many other things: compassion, respect, all of those things. And when you live like that, it shows others how to be, and then we all benefit. So learn about the Indigenous people, find something you love and share it. It's beautiful.
Yep, I just want to add here too, just before you go. I've noticed when it comes to solidarity, there's so many of our stories and histories that have so much of a link. So Toronto, we live in this extremely diverse place, but when we get talking, like as an Indigenous person with so many other people who come from different areas, who are born here, who are learning about their own histories, it's like there's so many links between things that have happened in the past and what's happening on Indigenous territories right now and what's happening right now in other places. And it's like the more we can find those types of links and have those types of conversations and ask questions, the more we're going to be able to be together and learn about each other. And then so learning all of our own histories is actually really part like of learning about Indigenous people here in Canada as well.
Thank you. Bye.
What do we say to them? Remember what we say? We don't say bye, right? Because in Anishinaabe, I'm not sure about any other culture, but I know about Anishinaabe, we don't say bye. What do we say to everybody?
Be good.
No, that's a thank you.
Well, yeah.
Ba,
Oh, bye.
bama. Yes, bama pi. Okay, on the count of three, we're gonna tell them. 1, 2, 3. Bama pi.
Bye. In Mohawk, I always say Ona, which means see you next time.
Arlen.
Okay, I have another question. If your water is polluted, then how do you guys drink water?
That's a sad question. You know why it's sad? Because a long time ago, we would have just put our face right in the water and just drink it right up, right out of the creek, like the animals. And the reason I say it's a sad question is because what do the animals do for clean water? We have treatment plants like everyone else. Some of us don't, and we have to buy water. Up north, they don't even have drinking water, so they have to buy a lot of water. But what do the animals do? They don't get treatment plants, do they? That's what my worry is. And that question hurts my heart, because no, we can't drink out of the water, except there are a very few areas in the world that you can. And when we get the opportunity, because we miss it so much as Indigenous, we'll just kneel by the water and we'll put our face right in that water and we'll just splash it around and drink it just like the wild bears. It feels so right. It feels so right. So thank you. Masi.
Yeah, a lot of Sabina was saying before too, is that there's a huge dependency on the government rather than having access to drinking water or lakes that have clean, fresh water that you can drink. They put a lot of people, Canada's put a lot of people in a situation where they have to buy bottled water. So not only are people like in my mom's territory of Tyendinaga or on Six Nations or in other communities around Toronto having to buy water, but they're also put into a situation where they're in poverty and then having to buy water. So could you imagine how much, even just for your family, it would cost every week to buy bottled water? And if you don't have that money, You can't do it. So then you end up drinking water that's not good for you, that gives you illnesses. So it's just created more of a dependency on things that you have to get outside of the things that we already have, which is if we took care, like if we were able to manage our lands the way that we wanted to, we would have clean water and we'd have all these things, but that's not something that's doable right now. So work really hard.
Can I just wanted to kind of bring it back to what Sabina had said about the animals. Because I feel that too. And here in the city, we see that. And I'll always bring you back because we're very close, especially where your school is. You're very close to that Humber River. And I'm sure you've seen when you pass by the ducks and the geese swimming in that water. We've seen that they're not well sometimes. And for me, I'll just speak from my personal experience. Sometimes I stand there and as you see, I'm a crier. I cry for the goodness and I cry for the beautiful. And that's just the gift I have. And I don't wipe my tears. I let it show to show that compassion and vulnerability. But sometimes I'll just stand there and cry and I get looks from people in the city that are like, what are you doing? And I don't have the answer of how to help them and fix them. I'll offer my tobacco because that's the medicine that I know. Sometimes I'll just speak and ask how, and then it can bring it back to that intuition that we might have if something comes to us and to act on it. But I just want to bring it back because you can have that lived experience going down to that next time you pass by the Humber River and you see those ducks, you see those geese, you come back to these teachings so you can embody that that teaching. So maybe
I just have something quick to share, and just that water responds and changes to energy and prayers. So if we could all pray for our water, when you feel like you see water it's not clean or it's not healthy, you can pray for it, you can love it, and it changes it. So imagine if we all could do that.
Yep, I've been staying on Toronto Island doing an art residency on at Artscape Gibraltar Point. And every morning I go, Sego Skenedelito Niawa Goa. And that means, hello, Lake Ontario. Thank you so very much from the great peace that lays in my heart. So that's my way of doing a prayer for the lake that we live around. And so maybe just smiling and saying, hi, Lake Ontario, how are you today? We love you. We say, in Mohawk, we say, Gonaronkwa. But you guys can say it however you want. Are there other questions there?
I think I'll question
we?
no. We they have recess in about. Oh, we have one more.
Oh, okay. Last question. Do you know how in indigenous cultures, a lot of them bead earrings and make their medicine? I just wanted to know what's your favorite one to make.
Oh, that's such a nice question. What's our favorite one to make or to wear?
Both.
Oh, to make or wear. Well, if I had to choose one, it's really hard, but I think I would go with moccasins, because moccasins aren't like any other shoes. They keep you connected and grounded to the earth. So you can really feel Mother Earth when you're walking and running. And the beautiful part about moccasins is that Indigenous people do something called brain tanned smoke hide. And so when you smell the hide, it smells like the smokehouse. And a smokehouse is where we smoke all our fish, all our meat, and all our hides. So to me, the smell of the smoke brings me such beautiful memories, DNA memories that go back DNA memory, we all have it. Your DNA memory within your body goes back to the beginning of time itself, the very beginning of time, each and every one of you. And if you want to help Indigenous, learn about yourself, learn about your culture, learn about where you come from, learn about pre-colonialism, what your culture was like before patriarchy, you know? And in that way, wow, you guys will find the answers. You are the answers.
What is patriarchy?
Good question.
Yeah. Well, Miranda's probably more educated than me to give a better answer, but I can help. You go ahead.
I would just say that all of these government systems, they're made under like a very masculine point of view. And so when you say patriarchy, it means like the masculine. That be accurate?
Yeah. Yeah. The male archetype, the masculine energy archetype that is sort of the dominant. It's dominant over matriarchy right now. But in our societies, in Dakar, guess what? We have matriarchal societies, and the clan mothers are the leaders and the grandmothers are the leaders of our people. And so that's what I mean, that if you go far, far back enough before patriarchy, you will find your strength and your power, because those are earth people and earth teachings. Everyone has them. Everyone has them.
I would like to share my thought on patriarchy too. It's not against men. It's not that that men are in control. It's the energy, the masculine energy, the logic instead of the heart. We actually need both. We need the logic and the heart to work together instead of an imbalance, because that is what is creating so many problems. So we need to hold up the feminine, the creativity, the nurturing, the love, the emotion.
And the leadership of women is something that has been missing in our modern societies. But women make beautiful leaders as well as men, and masculine and feminine is within each and every one of us. So we can nurture the feminine. A man can nurture the feminine within himself.
Yes, thank you, sister.
Oh,
You too.
wow.
Stop it.
It's a boy, yeah.
That was a boy. That was a boy.
Oh, you guys are cute.
Okay, yeah, we're on. They have to go to another class and recess, so I think we're gonna wrap up on our end. But that was incredible. And first, thank you all for sharing and teaching us about what you're doing, about the questions that they asked, and building a relationship that I hope we continue. Stan, thank you for bridging this connection. As usual, you know what I mean. Everybody out there, thank you for listening to us and being and sharing with us. We really appreciate it.
And just to your class, Bamapi.
Bamapi.
Bamapi, enjoy your recess.
Yeah, thank you.
Una day, everyone. Until we meet again.
Meet again. No, don't do that, man. All right.
All right.
Later.
Yeah. See everyone.
Later.
Love ya. Much love.
Yeah, much love. Much love. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bama P.
Bama P. They're teaching me. All right.